Hey everyone, my name's Elise. Welcome back to another video. Today I am giving you a little bit of a little special deck profile, a little nice thing for you. It's nothing I've topped with, nothing that's like amazing or done well. However, since I've been streaming, I'm always a big Striker fan, and apparently a lot of people in my chat are Striker fans too. And we've been trying to mess around with Striker because I know a lot of people want to play it, and we've seen the recent success of Striker lists in some of the Konami events recently, and when looking at them, I thought there are things they could do better. I don't necessarily know if I'm doing it better, but I think there's a lot of different things you can do with the deck that a lot of people are not exploring that I think is worth looking into and worth discussing and worth like having something to look at. So I came up with what I think is like correct for Striker right now, just based on like what the meta is and certain calls you should make and whatnot. So we'll see if it's right or not. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it'll be like interesting. It's a nice fun deck at the very least. At the end of the day, it's not something that's like amazing, gonna do whatever, but I did beat it with a nice I did make it with a nice like mindset of wanting to beat meta, and like it has like enough cards where it can attempt to play against Rogue well enough, and like as long as you know what you're doing, you should be fine. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Also, first of all, before we get this started, I just want to show off this Alistair mat that I got from the Remote Duel qualifiers. It looks so much better than it looks than in the pictures Konami gave. Hold on, like it looks so fucking good, and I just want to be able to like show it off a little bit more because it looks really nice, and I think it's really nice. And yeah, that's why we're doing it on this before I give this to my girlfriend, because apparently she likes to normal summon Alistair and pass in 2021. Anyways, let's get in for a better view and get a nice view on Alistair. So, the first cards are going to be 3 Ray and 3 Rose. So first of all, I probably should have mentioned this. This is a going second Striker list. I'll probably put it in the title, but just as a reminder, this is for going second with. So, anyways, a lot of people aren't playing 3 Rose right now. They're playing like 1 or 2. However, so the way I see it, back when I played Striker, back after Ryan won with it, and we theoried with it, so usually when you're able to see your starters, which is like Ray and Rose and then the other spell cards, you're usually able to play, and being able to play makes it so you get to the way to be able to win. And a lot of the times, as long as you see a starter, you can win a game, as long as because the deck is built to like force their tempo down the drain and make them be on an even playing level as you. So making it so you play on an equal playing level, which is like, just being able to summon this and just start playing, is really good. And even though this isn't Ray, it's still really important. I think being able to start the game is so important that you need to try and play 3 if you can afford to. And I think you should be able to afford to do that in this deck. So that's why I want to play 3 Rose. I don't know. Nothing more to really say about that. And then for hand traps, I'm playing a really heavy hand trap engine, and it's a little bit different than what probably most people are going to want to play in this deck. So I'm going to play 3 Ash, 3 Nibiru, 3 Skullmeister, and then 3 Gamma and the Driver. So this is a little bit, probably not super standard. I know a lot of people aren't really about maining Nib right now, but I think it's a very vital card. Because the thing is, the only deck this is bad against right now that's really relevant is going to be Eldlik variants, but your deck is generally catered enough to deal with Eldlik for the most part anyways. That's just how it was before, and if you really think it's that iffy, you can always rely on your side deck games 2 and 3, because you also have the Meister in the main deck, which really helps a lot with dealing with the Eldlik matchups. So I think it's well-rounded enough to where I can afford to main Nib, and then I'm also playing a card like Gamma because I want my hand traps to be as versatile as possible, so that I can put the hurt on as many things as possible in as many scenarios as I can. So I think Gamma is the most versatile compared to anything else. I know a lot of people are going to ask why there's no Veiler or anything like that. So I don't want to play Veiler in this deck because the Selene and access code, it's really cool, it's really good. But the thing is, I'm already playing a deck that isn't super amazing as it stands. It's a rogue deck, obviously. And by adding in those cards in a format where that card isn't good, you're adding pseudo bricks to your deck. I know I'm playing the Driver because I have to play the Gamma, but it is still less bricks than playing Veiler, because this is more of a high impact card than Veiler could be. Even the Skullmeister's higher impact than Veiler. And so I just think that if my if I'm playing an engine that's only good for like when I'm trying to go to end game, that card is not going to get me to that end game if like it's not good. So I'd rather play a good card to slowly get to the end game instead of like making the big enough pushes than playing a substandard card. It just doesn't seem right. And then I play Meister. I know a lot of people might consider Bell, but I feel like Meister's more versatile for like what the best decks are, considering the best decks are like Eldlik, Virtual World, and Drytron. So like considering those as the best decks, Meister has like just some of the most versatile applications compared to Bell. And like even a lot of rogue decks, Meister hurts a lot. So I think like in the essence of versatility and hitting the most things possible, I think this is a good card to play. So that's it for the main deck hand traps. I'll go into some other hand trap choices when we go to the side deck. But for now, let's go into the spell cards. We got 3 Widow Anchor, 3 Shark Cannon, 2 Afterburner, 2 Area Zero, and then the 1 Hornet Drone and Multi-Roll. So I think this is about optimal for what you'd want from main deck striker cards. I don't think Jamming Waves is good in the main deck right now, considering the 2 best decks are Virtual World and Drytron. So I think it's better off in the side, and then you can always just side them in if you feel necessary. Otherwise, there's no other striker cards that really speak out. 3 Area is just bad because you still don't have as many striker cards as you'd like to compared to like back in the day. So 3 Area just ends up clogging more than you really like to. So I think this is like the best ratio for any striker cards. There's nothing else I'd really play. Like you could consider Hercules base if you're playing the new pot, but spoilers. I'm only playing Desires and not the new pot. So the reason why I'm not playing the new pot, and like a lot of people have told me I should probably be playing it. Well, first of all, I don't own it, but I could easily have just made the list with it and still presented it and or borrowed it from someone. But I think it gets really iffy in this deck because like you're playing a going second deck that has limited grind resources. And while playing a card like Hercules base can help, you can't guarantee what resources you need until you get to that late game. So it feels really iffy to play a card in my deck where I would need, like, because I don't want to play a card in my deck that I wouldn't want to start with. And if I don't want to start with Disparity, because it seems like it'd be a better late game card than early game card. And I don't want to have a card like that in my deck. And I want my deck to just flow and have as much, like, value as possible each card I draw. So I feel like just playing the Desires is good enough. I think Disparity is a good option, but I don't think it's right in what the deck is trying to do. Anyways, other spells, play 3 Droplet. I think this card's amazing in this deck. So yeah, I don't know. I think this card's too insane not to run because you're playing a spell deck, and like I think the card's nuts. And like even against Virtual World, like you're playing a slow enough deck to where like you can afford to like get them to a point of like eventually just kind of grinding them with Droplet, so it's fine. And then the last 3 spells, Rhoda, Terraforming, and Upstart. So you'll notice I do not have Mystic Mine or Triple Tactics talents in my deck. So the reason why I don't have Mystic Mine is because, so the way I see the playing field, like the most of the meta is going to be comprised of the 3 decks I keep mentioning. But if you think about it, like Drytron usually has enough negates to where if they open well enough, they're going to play through like a mine if you don't have Droplet. But at that point, you're like, I feel like it's just, you're just chancing yourself at opening that engine. It's just not that good. Against Virtual World, like they have the Chuchi and they can play through it well enough. So it's really not that optimal, I think. And then against Eldlik, it obviously fucking sucks. So if it's, the card seems subpar overall, I don't want to play mine for what is considered the rogue decks of the format when I don't care about the rogue decks if I'm playing like a real deck. If I know I'm only playing against rogue decks, I'm going to cater my deck to it. But this deck is built for the meta, this deck is built to last and compete in this current format. So I don't think mine is right. I think, and like, I also don't think the other floodgates are right because I think the best way to play this deck is going second at breaking boards. So that's kind of the mindset with that. I may or may not be right, but like that's just the way I look at it for now. So that is it for the main deck. Someone in the chat just asked, why isn't there a Foolish Barrow Goods? Well, without Engage, Goods doesn't really have the value it used to, and like in how this list is built, there's really nothing good to send off of it, and you're just better off like playing other more impactful cards is why, honestly. So that's really more the mindset of like, why no goods? And it'd be better in like the Striker Eldritch variant, but like we're not playing that, so I don't think it's that good in this one. But anyways, extra deck. We got 3 Kagari, 3 Shizuku, 3 Hayate, 1 Kaina, and 1 Zeke. I don't think there's anything you can really change about the Striker lineup. I think it's kind of perfect. And you don't need more of either one of these. Like, you low-key wish there was more of these, but like, you don't want to ruin the consistency and like take away more power cards and like board-breaking cards than you'd like to. So I feel like the ratios are fine. And then for the last 4 cards in my extra deck, I play Phoenix, Unicorn, Access Code, and Omega. So the reason why Omega is because I play Gamma, and a lot of the time you can just save Gamma for your turn, and then just use it, and then make the Omega, and like it combos really well with Area Zero and multi-roll. So like, I think this card just has a lot of good utility, and there's nothing else like the only card I would play instead of this is Ningirsu, but I don't know if it's like 100% worth it in that essence. So I'm not playing it right now, but that doesn't mean I can't play it later on. And then for the rest of the extra deck, since I'm not playing the Hulk into Selene combo, I just wanted utility, so I just played Phoenix and Unicorn, and those cards are pretty nice. Especially when people are trying to put order back in more, the Phoenix does come up. And then Access Code, I mean, yeah, I'm playing Striker. You kind of have to play Access Code in the deck. And then for the side deck, it's going to be 3 Psycho Readers, my only monster in the side deck. So the reason why I'm playing only Psycho Reader and nothing else, because a lot of people think that like Droll should be played, and I think Droll is actually really correct in decks that are not built to OTK and go for game shots. Because this deck is obviously a slow deck. It's a very like grind deck. This deck doesn't kill you. So the thing is, Droll just ends their turn. It doesn't take away resources. It doesn't make it so they can't play on the next turn. They can still very easily play on the next turn. They'll still have all their resources, and they still probably went plus from that turn anyways. So, like, I'd rather play a card that's just going to stop that entirely. And I think Psycho Reader does that fine. And I think it's just a much better choice than Droll, and Droll just doesn't seem like a good choice to me. So that's why I'm playing that. And then for spells, 3 Cosmic, Duster, and Jamming Waves, and then I also have 2 evenly as far as like what I put in for back row. So this is what I have for like my back row hate, and then evenly is also good against like a lot of the meta decks too. And like, I don't play Lightning Storm because you're playing a grind deck. You rather just trade resources because you're only putting these in against the back row decks, and like I'd rather the cards be impactful than not. Even though like evenly isn't always impactful for the same reason Storm isn't. It also has just more uses than just for back row decks, which is really nice. And then the only reason why Duster is because it wipes them out. I don't have to deal with having like a random Area Zero or multi-roll on my side of the field, so it's perfectly fine. And then, like I said, the 1 jamming because you can search it, and I think that's fine. And then for the rest of the side deck, it's going to be 3 Judgment and 2 Strike. So the 2 Strike is actually really versatile, whether you're going first or second, because a lot of the time, you can just like kind of, like, your opponent will build a board when they go first, and then you can just set this card, or like, you can kind of pick at their board and then set it to remove their chance of having extra follow-up, which is really nice. And then Judgment, like, well, all these cards are essentially made for if they're going to make you go first, knowing that, like, your deck is just worse than theirs, and you're playing, you know, a back row deck at the end of the day, or like a slow deck. So putting these in just makes it so you have, like, the strength to compete with whatever they side in for you. So I think these are, like, the most optimal choices. So that is it for the deck profile. This is what I think is like the best way to take Striker at this point. I don't know if it's correct. I just don't know, but I think it's really cool, and I think it's a fun way to approach the deck, and it's something different compared to like some of the other lists I've seen that have been like going first and like more floodgatey. And I think this allows you to like actually like increase the Striker ceiling a lot more than you could, and rely less on your floodgates and whatnot, because you actually are like, you know, playing with their resources and having, you know, essentially encapsulating what Striker was made to be in the first place. So I think it's cool. I think it's worth checking out if you are a Striker fan and just want something to play for a little bit. So if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like. If you have any questions about the deck, leave a comment. Anything you want to discuss, leave a comment. Check out the Twitch stream down below in the description. We have a lot of talks about Striker on stream just because everyone loves talking about Striker and like seeing the Striker deck and what I've been doing with it. I'm not going to do it all the time, but like we'll update it every so often and play around with it a bit. And then, if you haven't yet, also please make sure to check out my sponsors and my locals. Midwest Gaming is my team that I'm on. They're really great. I'll have all their links down in the description. And then we're also sponsored by YGO Daily. As you can see up there, use code MWG5 to get 5% off all purchases there. They're already awesome, so might as well get a little bit more off. And then TGG Gaming, my main locals, they're really great. We run a Discord server. We're trying to do remote duels more, or just do other stuff. We're going to have a website soon for selling like cases and other product and stuff, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to be really exciting, but check out their YouTube, which I'm also featured on a lot of the content for, so you can get more content from me and the like. So yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye!